Jolly. Another away day, more points dropped, but it is a new year. I'd like to say we started off on a positive. Is it a point gained or 2 lost?
No, mate, the only positive is that we didn't lose. Simple as that, you know. It's new year, same Chelsea. We have not been good all season. We haven't been good in the league for a number of years now, you know, and it's the same thing over and over again. And people act surprised when we drop points against teams like Nottingham Forest. You know, this was pathetic today. You know, we get the goal from Sterling fortuitously. I think it takes some deflection, hits the bar, and he's got like an empty net pretty much to put it into. As soon as that goal went in, we stopped playing, offered absolutely nothing, and then we got hammered in that second half. We got taken apart, and we didn't deserve anything from it. I think Dean Henderson, the only thing he done all game was pick the ball out of the net from Sterling. We didn't make him do anything in that second half, and that is inexcusable for a Chelsea side that have spent so much money. And yes, we're not playing well at the moment. We shouldn't be coming to a side that's 19th and not even testing their keeper in a second half at all. It's just not good enough. It's simple as that, you know. And people go for the manager and stuff, and it's just like, think about it. You know, how many managers have we gone through over the years? The same problems are still there, and the only consistency is the players. This group of players is not good enough. It's as simple as that. Too many passengers, too many players not delivering, too many players hiding. No one's going for the ball. You know, you see guys at the back getting the ball, looking for a pass into midfield. It's not there. Midfield looking for a pass to the forwards. Not there. We're scared. It's just unacceptable. And yes, the manager has to take some responsibility tactically, but ultimately, all right, for those people that say Potter out, what, someone else comes in and you think it's going to be any better? It'll just be the same conversation with someone else sat in a dugout. People need to realise that until we invest in the squad, get rid of the dead wood and bring in actual quality that's going to improve the side, this is going to keep on being a problem no matter who sat in a dugout.
I mean, we were struggling when Tuchel was the manager. You know, it's just the same thing with a different gaffer. And actually, I think we would have got more results this season if we still had Tuchel. But I do get why we've brought Potter in. It's the long-term plan. But I think some fans just struggle to see that, especially when you see performances like this. How are we supposed to trust this process when we can't even get points off teams who are fighting for relegation?
Mate, it's bleak. And it is hard. And, you know, I'm a staunch defender of the manager. I think we have to move away from this cycle of constantly thinking that the answer is to get rid of the manager instead of actually looking at the problem and looking at it as a bigger picture, you know. We've invested a lot of money in Potter, you know, 20-odd mil to get him out, extra 2 mil for his staff. He's on a 5-year contract, 12 mil a season. It's like an £80 million investment all in all. And for people to think that it's a good idea to chuck that away after like 3 or 4 months is utter nonsense. Yes, he's got to improve, but until he's had the opportunity to bring his players in and you know, and try and work his magic on the team as such, you know, and try and create a Chelsea identity, then there's nothing that we can actually do. I mean, yes, we do have to pick points up, and the results, you know, really do matter, and the performances have got to be better, but what were we expecting? Were we suddenly expecting everything to be fine when we have been a cup side for years and years and years?
I mean, when we do spend money, because it is inevitable we're going to spend more in January. Obviously, we're linked with Enzo Fernandez, 120 million. I think we just got that left back from Monaco. What's his name?
Oh, the centre back from Monaco, Badia
Yeah.
Shield. That's done. He's having a medical tomorrow.
Yeah, and it seems like we might even be going in for more players. We need a right back, so there is money being spent. There's definitely a backing, so we can't say that the ownership aren't supporting Potter. What kind of pressure is he under for the rest of the season, knowing that the money's been put behind?
Yeah, of course. It doesn't matter, you know, how long you've been a Chelsea manager. As manager, you're always under pressure at Chelsea. I know it's new owners and it might be slightly different, but you're under pressure from media, from fans, from you know, rival fans and whatnot. You know, there is that pressure there, and Potter's fully aware that he has to step up and deliver, but he needs to be given a fair crack at this. You know, these aren't his players. There's a lot of players there that I think he thinks he knows that aren't good enough. And we have to give him the opportunity to bring those players in and then to work with those players and see what he can do with that. If we're still here next season and he's had January to bring his players and he's had the summer and we've had the first half of next season and we're still having the same conversations, then there's a conversation to be had about the manager and whether this is actually the right route to take. But until we get to that point, there is no point just calling for the manager to go, because you'll just be having the same conversation with someone else sat in a dugout, because these players simply are not good enough. And we do have to spend money in January. Yes, if Enzo Fernandez comes in for that money, we have to be patient with him as well. You know, he's 21 years old, the kid. He's not going to suddenly come in and revitalise the midfield. It's going to take him time to adapt as well. It's going to be that pressure with a price tag. So, you know, the answer is not just throwing money at. Yes, we do have to spend money, but these players aren't going to make an instant impact. And I think ultimately we have to look at this season and think, whatever we get from it is a bonus. It's as simple as that, because at the moment, this was a big opportunity today. I know, like, we're still points off the top four, but this was a chance to go 5 points off the top four. Spurs losing, Newcastle dropping points.
Yeah.
You have to capitalise on these situations when you're points behind, and we just didn't do that. And the form is really worrying. It's 1 win in our last 7 games. That's dreadful.
Yeah.
That's relegation form.
I mean, just going into the City game, we've got to play them twice in January. What are your thoughts on those games, and just generally, how are we going to pick up from this performance?
I don't know. We're going to have to hope for some sort of divine intervention, mate, from up above, because I cannot see how we get anything from either of those City games. The golfing class is just ridiculous. They'll play us off the park completely. The thought of just like De Bruyne just pinging balls over the top or through balls, mate. Haaland, Koulibaly. I like Koulibaly, but that centre forward was bullying him all day long. Second half, absolutely bullying him. The thought of Haaland up against Koulibaly is just like, makes you want to cry.
It's scary.
It is scary, but all we can do is just keep believing. Just support the players, support the manager, and things will change. But this is a long road. And the short term, it's not good right now. But we're going to have to accept some pain, and then hopefully, there will be some gain in the long run. I hate to use Arsenal as an example, but 2 8th place finishes, and now they've got a very good chance of winning the league. Imagine if you told Chelsea fans you'd have to finish in 8th in back-to-back seasons to then challenge for the league. There'd be uproar, wouldn't there?
Yeah, I don't think we'd be that patient. I mean, to be fair, I felt bad for Arsenal at some point. So to imagine a club like us going through that, you can't. But the way we're playing, it's not unrealistic for this season.
No, it's not, mate. And today was just like, I don't really know what I was expecting. We was chatting before the game, and it wasn't. We weren't really expecting anything, to be honest. We thought, if we can get out of here with a win, we would have done well, and that's kind of where we are at the moment. But you go 1 up, and I don't understand why there is no urgency in this team whatsoever. Where's the urgency to go for that second goal? Where's the urgency to show for the ball, make something happen? We scored against the run of play, really, and then we just retreated into our shells and offered nothing for the rest of the game. And then second half, we got absolutely hammered, and it was like we were 19th and Forest were in the top half of the table. So there's a lot of work for Potter to do. There's a lot to digest there. The only positive to take from this game, literally, is Kepa's performance and the fact we didn't lose. Other than that, it was atrocious again.